Hello everyone. Today we'll be reading Gnoll Way Home Part 2. Hope you guys are having a great day. I think when this video comes out it'll be Tuesday. Yeah, I don't even know my own schedule. That's how it goes. I usually just don't know what's going on. So yeah. If you remember what happened in Part 1, we are a gnoll, or we took over some gnoll's body. I think they are dead, or they died. I think they died, and like, shit. What's that? Is it? No? Yeah, you don't know. Okay. I wouldn't assume y'all know. But, kind of like an isekai, where, like, you take over some person's dead body, and you pilot it, but then people around you kind of don't know, but then it seems like these guys know it's not him, because, like, he's acting differently and stuff. They're smart. Very smart. So yeah, seems kind of like that for me. Like, I don't know an example, but, probably, yeah, I don't know a single example of, like, someone dying and then someone taking over. Oh, actually, I do know. It's like Death Parade, maybe? It's like where some kid takes over, or no, not kid. A demon king takes over some, like, high school kid's body or something like that, and then has to live with it. Yeah, something like that. It's like, yeah. I don't sound very confident right now because I've not watched it since 4 years ago. I think it's not called Death Parade. Is it called Death Parade? I don't know what it's called. It's whatever. It's not like that though. We'll get to it in the video though. At the moment, we are at the Shattertusk tribe. It's a place where these guys just hang around. I don't know. Let's get to the video. I'm not ready for this to end. Down here, closer, I start to hear the sounds of the village. The scents along the trail become more tangible too. Other gnolls, lots of them. They're going to hate me, and every bit of that will be justified. I can't take back what I've done. Stinky's ears perk from a deep sigh I fail to mask. Hey, things are gonna turn out fine. All I can offer, in thanks for his reassurance, is a muted grunt. And if anyone tries to pick a fight with you, they'll have to go through me. Oh, come on. Serious? You don't need to protect me. Well, I don't see your deadweight technique. Okay. I don't see your deadweight technique winning any fights. I rebuke him with a glower, but it makes him grin even wider. Fine, I'll be counting on you if there's trouble. Attaboy. There's a palpable tension in the air when we set foot in the village. While the others are torn away by various greetings and embraces, I'm left adrift in a sea of narrowed eyes and a wave of whispers. All that scrutiny, all the mistrust, it's a writ as plain as day on their faces, and it twists the knife of trepidation that's been stuck in my side this entire journey. They already know who I am. They know what I am. They keep their distance at first, watching, waiting. Then a shrill battle cry sounds out, and the children arrive. Not the children. There has to be a dozen of them. No, 100. That's a more respectable number to be beaten up by. The first introduces himself to me with a running kick to the dick. I crumple instantly, which the others take a sign of encouragement. In seconds, they're upon me, every inch of my body kicked, slapped, and spat upon. They strip my flesh from my bones, desecrate my remains, and call me expletives, most unmerciful, until nothing is left. A fitting end. I will not be missed. Then one of them chomps down hard on my tail, reminding me that this massive body of mine does, in fact, still exist. Mostly unscathed, but the slings and barbs still hurt on the inside. Oi, brats. The beatings cease, morale improves. This here's my minion. I defeated him first, laid him low in a single blow. technically correct? An impressed collective of murmurs rise from my pint-sized assailants. Go ahead, minion. Show them who you belong to. Bark like a dog. What? The armistice wavers. The children look at me expectantly. He's really going to make me do this. Bark. Gonna need more than that, minion. I take a deep breath. There is no salvaging this. I raise my hands in a mock of a dog's floppy ears. Woof, woof, bark, bark, woof, 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 bark, bark, woof, 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 bark, bark, bark. The children are smitten, cackling and howling in delight at the funny clown man debasing himself for their amusement. I can't believe I got you to do that. In front of so many people. I'm dying. I'm dead. Send flowers. Stinky's own collapse makes him the new target for the miniature miscreants to climb it and gnaw at. Though, at least he's able to return fire and roughhouse them back. Humiliating as it was, the tactics seem to have worked. Many of the children have begun to disperse, some of them teasing one another with mocking impressions of my bombastic ass-foolery. Even the adults in the area seem to have dismissed any notions that I might be a threat, their expressions looking more relieved after that idiotic indulgence. Glancing around, I notice many of them have swarmed Tav, much as their children did to me. Though, instead of beating the dignity from him, they're clamoring for the letters he carries. He looks overwhelmed, but fights through it, managing to raise his voice above the din of the crowd to call out for the proper recipients. Soon, he's relieved duty by another Gnoll that claims to be a speaker, ducking through the crowd to catch up with me. The Shattertusk term for those capable of reading the Imperial script. There's only a handful capable of this throughout the entire village. Supposedly, there's many other scripts, the Imperial archives, but there's only. What the fuck? I'm sorry, I can't read. Okay, but theirs is only the one that's taught openly. Oh, I'm fucking stupid. Like theirs. Like what? Okay. This little man can fit so many letters in him. Don't forget, you're the one who taught me. Stinky finds somewhere comfy for Opa to rest and waves for us to continue on throughout. Oh. To continue on without him, while he distracts the remaining kids with the game of Snapdragon. Snapdragon. A species of serpent-like moving plants that infest the Wombwood. Though their jagged maws appear dangerous, they can do little more than bite and swallow vermin-sized prey. Thankfully, they're not fully ambulatory. Though particularly long ones can wrap around in between the branches of trees. Each is still bound by their base and dies if uprooted. They don't possess eyes or ears, but instead sense motion through the heat and vibration. The botanical beasts often misidentify travelers as prey and snare them for nasty tumble. Wonder what else that maw can do. Yeah, I wonder too. The local Shattertusk gnolls are also seen to have some sort of sport. I hope y'all know I'm not wearing my glasses today. I had to go back to the doctor to get new ones, sadly. The local Shattertusk gnolls are also seen to have some sort of sport named after the creature, but every time I investigate it, the rules are completely different. The meta is changing at an alarming rate. It mostly seems to involve moving his arms around like a snake and snapping his hand out to tickle the little buggers. But I guess they've made some sort of game out of it? Come on, before it gets dark. Moving through the town, I am surprised at how many shapes and sizes of gnolls there are. Tall, skinny, short, bulky, and everything in between. Though it seems like Tav and I are about the far ends of the adult height range. Every now and then, I even spot one or two rather strange, unsettling physical characteristics. Wombwood refugees, don't gawk. But how? I thought the Wombwood didn't affect gnolls. Anything or anyone that's born there comes out different. Even gnolls. My god. We're just the only ones that can safely traverse it. Other people end up, well, they don't usually stay people for long. Glad I never have to go back there. As we continue our trek, I notice a wide variety of dress on display as well, in a plethora of different styles, as well as a more casual nudity than Tav seems more comfortable with. He hurriedly takes me by the paw as we navigate through the crowded village streets. I will try to slow down. Just slightly. Even though there's only a few dozen buildings total, it seems like there's a considerably more gnolls than that living here. Where do they sleep? Outside? The overall atmosphere seems lively, with a plenty of open chatter throughout the streets. From what little I managed to pick up as we pass through, it seems a lot of it is about me. My ears swivel a few times as I hear people mention that I could use some soup. Soup does sound really good right now. I ran out of bonus fruits hours ago. Rest sounds pretty good too. It's been a long travel day. And Tav made that journey twice today. He pauses as we reach one of the larger buildings on the far end of town, scrutinizing the drape drawn over its entrance before relinquishing a soft sigh. Matron's busy. We'll have to wait. He leans back against the side of the hut and slides down it, exhaling a deep sigh as he finally lets himself rest for the first time today. I move to sit alongside him, but have to pause first to set down those wicker baskets he laden me with. I'd forgotten all about them. So, the matron. Guess she's the one in charge around here? Sort of. We don't have a traditional matron like the old tribes. So that's a normal thing for tribes to have, a matron in charge. Some of them, mostly the ones in and around the Wynwood. The others were led by warlords instead, but I don't think there's any of them left anymore. The Empire saw to that. I quickly try to push the conversation forward, stumbling a bit. So what makes this matron so special? In the awkward silence that follows, I realize that probably sounds a little more cynical than I intended. I mean, not to say that she isn't. He huffs a beleaguered sigh. I'm just making things worse again, aren't I? I know it must be irritating to have to field so many basic questions, but I'm pretty much adrift here. It's a long story. I gesture to the occupied building. I think we've got time. He glowers, but soon leans his head back in defeat, acquiescing. The Imperials wiped out most of the tribes during the Grand Crusade. Not just the gnolls, pretty much everyone that wouldn't bend the knee to them. Sounds pretty typical for an empire. I guess. They want everyone to be good little workers, loyal Imperial dogs. And whoever they can't convert, they kill. Brutal. And yet, that's exactly what they call us. I look around, thinking back to all the gnolls I've met so far, and calling them brutal is a bit far-fetched. Kind old Opa. Energetic but well-meaning Stinky. Okay, maybe the kids are in the descriptor. But even with everything Tav's been going through, brutal might be the last word I'd use to describe him. So, they either tame the savages, or break them. According to them, yeah. But even when you break a tribe, there's still pieces left over. He scans his head around, observing the village as it stands now, so full of life. And this is where they end up. Gnolls with no tribe left. Huh. Well, they seem to be doing alright now. Tav shrugs. They deserve better than this. Back in the Empire, there was just so much everything. Everything? Food, books, homes, everything. But not for everyone. If the Empire favored you, live in a lap of luxury. And if he scorned you, you slept in the gutters. The part we grew up in was the worst of the worst. Trash in the streets, tar in the water, smog in the air, plagues in the people, even the houses got sick. They said it was right where Gnolls belonged. He pauses, surveying again and sighing. This is better than that at least, but the spoils of that empire's favored enjoy. It's wasted on them. I start to get a pretty good idea of why Tav and Gash left the city. But it doesn't seem like that life outside it is everything he wanted it to be. And the Empire, probably not likely to change, is it? No. They're pretty good at stamping out dissidents, or turning them against one another. It's easy to get folks to agree on what's wrong, way harder to get them to agree on what's right. That's what Wrath used to say. He's the only one that made any progress. Who's that? The big damn hero that stood up to the Empire until he gave up. He led a rebellion, several, actually, I think. They freed a bunch of indentured servants. The Empire doesn't like it when you call them slaves. But it didn't amount to much in the end. No matter how hard they thought, the Empire's just too big. Anyway, they liberated just ended up with a target on its back. At some point, the people didn't even want to be saved anymore.
So what happened? Why'd he give up?
He got old and sad, decided he was done fighting, helped found the village here. Brought together all the pieces that were left over.
Oh, I guess that's why it's called Shattertusk.
Yeah, the old warlords took pride in their tusks. The bigger the better. Said those made them good leaders, strong and virile. The smaller Gnoll prods at one of his own rather scrawny endowments. Didn't do them much good when the Crusade swept through. Crusade? The Grand Crusade. The Empire's term for their quest to forcibly bring out all other cultures they encounter under their rule. Oh, okay. After the... That's crazy. Conquistadors? I don't know. After their conquest of... Yeah. After their conquest of nearly all nearby tribes over the past few generations, they now turn their gaze at seaward to see if they can expand beyond the continent. Dopes on a boat. Oh, I thought I could press that. I know I missed two. Where are the other ones? Got Snapdragon. Shattertusk. A remote village on the far side of the Wyrmwood, away from the Imperial reach. It's built around a series of natural hot springs. I think the phenomena that heats them up might be related to the creation of the basalt burial as well. So happy we moved here. I love everyone in the village so much. We got Tav, Slinky, Opa, Gash? Oh, we're Gash. I finally get to write one of these. I'm a primary source. I grew up with Tav in the Empire City. No parents, samesies. I think you can elaborate a little further. And I also got a huge cock. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna have to blur that out. Never mind. I'll handle these from now on. Yeah. I reach up to feel one of the oversized tusks, jutting from my own muzzle. Virile, huh? Just superstition. They don't really mean anything. I stifle a cackle as a pair of satisfied-looking gnolls emerge from the hut. My nose immediately picks up quite a bit of sweat and musk radiating from them. As the two depart, playfully chattering under their breath and nudging at one another, I notice Tav rise and I head in. I follow quickly behind after I gather up the baskets, already getting used to staying within the leash's domain. The interior of the matron's hut is more spacious than I expected. The first thing that catches my eye is a truly massive shank of meat that lies upon a low table near the doorway. Behind it, I'm surprised to see a roaring fire lighting a stone hearth with a bubbling cauldron upon it. Is it finally time for soup? A Gnoll woman, tall and gangly, hums softly to herself as she slices through the massive hunk of meat with effortless grace. The bone-carved knife in her paw splits the flesh with a natural ease. I look to Tab to try and gauge the etiquette here, but his ears perk as the curtain is drawn open, and on the other side of the abode, a gruff voice from behind it beckons to him. Tab motions for me to stay here, heading behind the curtain and leave me alone with who I can only assume is the matron. I linger awkwardly, trying to peek behind the partition, before she chuckles dryly. Her voice has a harsh quality to it, thickly accented in a melodic way I've only heard a few times around the town so far. This ain't the place for snooping around. Get your prying ears away, boy. I flinch, wheeling around wheeling around to meet her gaze with paws instinctively raising to plead innocence. Her chuckling rises into a distinct, sharp cackle that sends a twinge of terror up my spine. Come here, demon boy. Let Nika have a look at this one. Nika is the advocate of the Shattertusk tribe. She uses her familiarity with different religions to mediate between disparate beliefs and cultural practices of the different tribes that have coalesced here. She's also a skilled boker, favored by the brood nutter, and is exceptionally knowledgeable about medicinal poultices. Don't never ask her about funny critter in her necklace. It ain't a sensitive topic, but she'll take it out and torment you with it, and it's super creepy. She keeps it as a reminder of why she was exiled from the brood witches. She says it helps her focus and makes her a better evoker. It's gross. I feel my ears prick back at her command, submitting and moving closer despite my nerves. Even though I'm bigger than her, there's something about her voice and presence that commands respect. Before I even realize she's close enough to do so, she's got a paw grasping my chin, roughly thrusting it upward to examine me. I freeze in place, terrified at the intense look in her eye, and the sadistic smirk that stretches across her muzzle. Seems to be working. It takes me a moment to realize she's talking about the collar. Is she the one that made it? She lets my head drop back down, and I struggle to stand before her without quaking. Just remember, you take this off, your head go boom. I can't tell if that's her idea of a joke or not, but she does not seem to be feasting on my fear at the prospect of a sudden head explosion. Aha, never seen a demon shake like that before. You piss on my floor, you're the one cleaning it up. She punctuates that threat with a chiding wave of her index finger. I'll say favor. With a chiding wave of her index finger and a few accompanying clicks of the tongue. Calm yourself, boy. Nika ain't gonna hurt you unless you give me reason to. I go, trying to steal my resolve. This one got a name.
Nikola.
She makes a tour around me, examining and prodding at my body in a way that only makes me more tense. Looks about the same, this one. Smells the same too. At this distance, I can parse her smell as well, without even needing to close my eyes. Her smell brings to mind poisonous plants, rot and death. There's a commanding malice to her scent that makes me quiver. It somehow reminds me of that place. Quit your sniffing around, boy, or I'll put that nose of yours in me cauldron. She brandishes that wicked-looking knife with a terrifying grin.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. What are you making in there anyway? Soup?
You really do know nothing, eh? I like that face, this one. It's like licking. Bring poultices, but keep your greedy paws away from there. That be a special brew, matrons only. She sheathes that knife and pushes a bowl full of hairy roots toward me. Now make yourself useful and help Nika peel this here death root while you wait. Gotta get through another batch of these before sundown. Somebody's gotta keep these people from falling apart. I hesitate before slowly navigating around the weird tubers and try to figure out how to peel them with just my claws. I am certainly not gonna ask her for the knife. Once my mind wanders to consider what she said, my claws start to move with more effortless motions.
Wait, But I thought gnolls didn't get sick. Not like all other folks, no, we don't. No food sick, no plague or poison. But there's still other ailments to deal with. Like what? Ghosts in your blood? A searing pain alights through my forehead as she flicks it with a sharpened claw. Like demons in your noggin, you daft hellspawn. Oh, sorry. Broken bones and old age are happy to visit us too, don't you know? Make maybe Nika break some of yours to get you familiar. That's not necessary, I'll be good. You better. You walk Razor's Edge, demon boy. You just better hope those two make your mercy on you. You just better hope those two take mercy on you. As she points at the curtain, on the other side of the room, I realize I haven't heard a peep since Tav went back there. Who's that back there with Tav? Oh, that's just me, husband. They're probably deciding a fate back there as we speak. Oh, well, how do you think that's gonna go? I trust me husband's judgment on that. He's the only man in this world to earn me respect. And you know why that is? Is because he knows that he knows nothing. Too many fool of a man in this world think they know everything under the sun. But he questions everything, even his own self. The old tribes would see that as weakness, a death knell for dear leader. But I think otherwise. He's open to new ideas, to reconsidering who he is as a person, who we are as people. This here is not weakness. It is flexibility, adaptability, hell, even wisdom. Speak of the devil or demon. That curtain is pulled back, and I hear Tav calling from the other side. Fine, take a look at him yourself. After a brief pause, I realize I'm being summoned. Go. Do not make me say it twice, boy. I hurry over, relieved of the escape of Nika's overwhelming presence. Beyond the curtain, I see the source of that gruff voice, back turned toward me, polishing a hefty firearm with a wicked-looking blade mounted beneath its barrel. The older gnoll turns, surprising me with a stark dichotomy of appearance. Tav motions toward me with a wild gesticulation as I arrive. Listen to me, Rat. He's a demon. You're really just gonna let him run free around the village? The gruff voice returns, tinged with a rustic drawl, as the older gnoll responds. Yep. If he ain't danger to nobody, then he's just gonna be putting his fair share of work around here. This is your... The tiny gnoll makes a show of unraveling the leash from his wrist as far as it will go, and marches outside with a pronounced surge of frustration. I'm getting soup. After he does his best to dramatically close the curtain behind him on his way out, I realize that the drape seems to immediately shut out all sound beyond it. A deep sigh from the gnoll he was arguing with reminds me that I'm left once more awkwardly sifting through the fall of yet another Tav outburst. Boy's got a strong sense of justice. Reminds me of myself when I was younger. It's a darn tough thing to grow out of. So you're... Wrath, matron of the Shattertusk tribe. Wrath is the founding and current matron of the Shattertusk tribe. He and his would-be revolutionaries have put aside to their swords and for plowshares. His good boys sure get their share of plowing. Sort of farmers. Crude, but it's sort of true. He was known for retaining high troop morale through individual counseling and rewards for his followers. Imperial propaganda always printed him as a deviant for that. Nika says Wrath uses a sacred herb from the wombwood to make himself more matronly. Never see him smoke that wombweed though. It's called dire fennel, and it's hard to get because it only grows in the wombwood. That's why he always asks if we found any when we travel through there. I'm gonna stick to Fade Leaf. My eyes go wide at the realization, and I quickly bow my head in what I hope is a fairly universal display of reverence. Sorry, I didn't realize, sir. Ma'am? Either's fine, kid. Ain't too picky these days. And I suppose I ain't exactly your typical matron anyhow, but we do make do here.
I'm put at ease a bit by how effortlessly he diffuses the tension in the air.
I just assumed Nika was in charge. Yeah, that's what I suggested too, originally. She's had her fill of leadership already, though. Weren't no talking her into it. But she's a shrewd one, already had a bargain in mind when she turned me down. Offered an aid as an advisor of sorts. And in return, my hand. In marriage, as it turns out. I figured it was a 50-50 odds she'd swipe that flesh carver of hers through my wrist and keep me shooting hand as a trophy. Truth be told. Flesh carver. A sacred ceremonial dagger used by the brood witches of the Wombwood for all sorts of gruesome rituals. Nika mostly uses it for lunchtime. While it is usable on inner meat as well, yes, it's more notable for its magical ability to effortlessly carve notable glasses, guys. I want me glasses. While it is usable in inner meat, yes, it's more notable for its magic ability to effortlessly carve through still living flesh while instantly sealing any wounds it creates. Stories say the brood witches used it to keep their victims alive, while slowly carving off pieces of them for ritual sacrifice. She threatened to end my family line with it if I touch it again. Well, don't play with magic knives then. I think that's like, what's his name? Tav and Gash going back at each other on that. But either price is more than fair for what she brings to the table. Oh, I didn't realize Gnolls did marriage. We don't, usually. The warlords used to keep harems, sure, but most Gnolls just take mates as they come. Sounds lonely. Never felt that way to me. Keeping your mate locked away like property, now that's lonely. So you're having second thoughts about it? No, it's a trivial sacrifice for the sake of the tribe. Besides, she may be a bit possessive, but she still lets me tend to my duties. Duties? Managing morale, whether it's soldiers or civilians, I've always felt a calling to keep spirits up. So that's the matron's role around here. Well, it's the way I've been doing things since way back when. But I've been learning new ways to soothe the spirit these days. With magic? With words. Sometimes touch just ain't enough. Wait, what? A bit of fraternization was enough to keep my good boys in line back in the day, but we face different problems nowadays. Different sorts of anxieties that different sorts of anxieties that need taken care of. So I listen, I hear their worries, I give them what comfort I can, offer advice if they want it, or just an ear to vent to. I guess when you've managed to not die as long as I have, you can't help but pick up some kind of wisdom. And if they need to blow off steam as well, too. If needs must. Oh, I guess that's what we're doing. But, we ain't here to talk about me. We need to talk about you, kid. I tense up, remembering once more that my life is on the line here. Real shame the way things played out. Gash was one of our only lifelines to the outside world, you know? That wasn't I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Well, what was it you intended, if you don't mind me asking? I don't know. I didn't think things would turn out this way. If you didn't think about the guy whose body we're jacking. I didn't even know that's what was happening. I just heard a voice calling to me and he pulled me here. The void call. What? That's how stories usually go. The victim's anguish calls out to the void, and then demons come answering. They use that moment of desperation to infiltrate the body and seize control. He takes a long, deep look into my eyes, studying my obvious lack of comprehension. But could be that you're just oh no. But could be that you're just like rainwater filling a ditch. My gaze drifts downward. Maybe if I had resisted the call, Gash would still be here. He growls softly to himself and scratches at his mutton chops. You know, you could have made this a lot easier on me by being a monster.
He taps his gun to indicate what he does to monsters. But I'm not. Yeah, I don't see a monster here. I see a scared pup caught in a mess beyond his reckoning. He moves the holster the rifle onto his back. But it's still my fault, isn't it? Hard to say. But from what Tav's told me, you've been real cooperative ever since you got here. I mean, yeah, if I caused this, then it's my responsibility to fix it. And if it comes down to it, is that a higher priority than saving your own hide? I want to get Gash back, but I don't want to go back either. I want both. Both, huh? Now you're sounding real greedy like a demon. Well, what's wrong with that? Honestly, that sounds more reasonable to me than the piteous mater act Tab was accusing you of. What? He's hurting something real fierce. He ain't seeing straight. But I'm willing to give you a shot. Really? Well, what does that entail? We call it a probationary period. You stay here with us until we figure out how to fix this mess. You mean it? Really? I can stay? Quit the tail wagging, pup. You look like an imperial dog. Stop it, Tail. Now, I ain't offering you a free ride. You're gonna work your share while you're here. Of course. I'll do everything I can to bring Gash back. Well, for the time being, we ain't got no leads on that. But what we do have are houses that need building, fields that need tilling. He motions to baskets I once again forgot I'd been hauling all day. Mail that needs delivering. But I'll be watching you. We all will. If you're gonna be one of us, you need to be on your best damn behavior. We'll make a good boy out of you yet. My tail verges on whiplash. Whiplash. We'll say that again. My tail verges on whiplash. Now, let's get that damn collar off you. He looks to the partition and heads over to tug it open. She didn't hear all that, did she? Nah. The shroud here makes it the perfect place to talk things out with confidence. Shroud. Shroud of silence. A privacy curtain the matron uses to guarantee confidentiality during personal counseling. It's been stitched together from the remnants of several enchanted cloaks Wrath used for scouting and reconnaissance during the revolts. In the matron's room, nobody can hear you. Complete. Oh, thank whatever gods they have here. Wife, get in here. Address me proper. Please. Love it when a man begs. Will you just get this damn thing off of him? You want it removed? Without killing him, yes. This was not in the specifications. What? You gotta be kidding. Brood witches' restraints ain't normally concerned with you being alive when they done with you. Nika. I mean, if you want the collar intact, I could take the head off with me flesh cover. Nika. Oh, here comes the existential dread again. I take some me time to sit down and cradle my knees as they hash things out. Like that meme. Or, I guess it's not a meme. It's like, wow. After being dismissed from the matron's hut, collar intact, I find my growing appetite managing to steal focus from the pall of despair that hangs above me. Oh, is this where they just sleep on the floor? Like, I'm being stupid. Never mind. A few passing gnolls inquire if I'm headed for soup, and motion for me to follow along. I need this. Following their lead, I soon find myself in a rather sizable congregation of gnolls, bound for their large cave mouth just outside the town. A wave of tantalizing soup smells passes through them, visible through their instinctive reactions as noses reflexively drop into the wind to sample it. I don't realize how much I'm salivating until I notice the snickers of a few onlookers. How am I supposed to keep it all in with tusks this big? Getting closer, I see a few gnolls already headed back the opposite way, towards the village, laden with the hearty earthen pots full of soup. But I'm not sure why it's being prepared in a cave. I've not long to consider that before an answer makes itself apparent. Inside the cave, dozens of rocky pools bubble with water cast in a golden glow by the setting sun. As steam rises from them, I spot pots. I spot bits of fragrant vegetation and hunks of unidentifiable meat, slowly softening in their embrace. A group of gnolls work to stir in new ingredients while directing us poor hungry souls to which pools are ready. At last, I've made it. I'm at soup. I can't wait even a second longer. Grabbing from a nearby stack what I assume to be a bowl for communal use, and scooping some out, much like the gnolls before me. I take a deep whiff, the steam tickling my brain as it softens my sinuses. It's too hot, but I'm hungry, but it's hot. Hunger defeats reason. A yowl escapes me, drawing further snickers from the other gnolls as they see me, bested by soup that is too hot. I'm solidifying my clownish reputation here. But I don't care. I'll clown for soup. Swept in by the sweet embrace of soup, time slips away as I down bowl after bowl of the savory delight. Each pool offers new flavors and aromas. I can't help but overindulge a little. Or maybe a lot. Before long, my sloshing soup gut strains over the weight of my gluttony. In the embrace of that blissful broth, I barely notice as the crowd around me migrates further into the cave, sweeping me up along with them. Beyond the initial culinary calderas, I'm greeted by a different use case for the natural hot springs. Both my bowl and loincloth are soon taken by helpful hands, and I'm left standing naked and afraid before dozens of bathing gnolls. Gnoll soup. I guess I should bathe and not just stand here, with everyone staring at me and my junk. Looking around, there aren't a lot of vacant pools. Tav appears to be bathing with some fragrant petals, but one glance assures me that I'm not welcome to join. Doesn't look like it. No, not at all actually. Wrath and Nika are occupied with one another. They must have arrived while I was lost into soup frenzy. Oh, so that's the collar. Of course he's Imperial Dog. Stinky invites me over with some very forward gesturing. And Opa is straight up unconscious. I should probably check on him. I splash down to join Opa, surprised by both with how perfect the water temperature and with how elegantly Opa's saggy scrotum floats up to the pool's surface. Mesmerizing.
Opa, how you doing?
I give a soft jostle to rouse him, met in turn with relief as he loudly snorts himself back awake. The drowsy old-timer stretches and yawns out a half-awake inquiry.
Brought me flesh meat. Oh, no.
His outstretched paw comes to rest down behind me.
I think you did.
Stinky whistles.
Okay, I think you should take a break from the hot water. But I've got much left to scrub. You wouldn't mind helping, Nikola? Fair is fair, isn't it? Who do you think kept you fed and scrubbed while you slept the days away at my place?
Oh. I guess that's fair then? I shouldn't be so prudish about... Okay. He has a...
Opa.
Look, a miracle.
That is still worse at my age, kid. I can't be picky about when it works.
Looking around, I notice many other gnolls casually helping one another wash up, even in intimate regions. So this isn't too out of the ordinary, it seems. And the old man does have his charms. He seems to have figured out just how far he can push his luck. I can do this. It's not weird. Just don't think about the hog.
Magic my hands, my boy. Magic hands, my boy.
Oh, we are actually doing that. You are not helping. He taps at my back once more.
Slide all the way in, boy. Boil them ticks off. Wait, ticks? Of course. Think you can trapeze through the forest without a few dozen tagalongs?
I submerge within the extreme prejudice. I submerge with extreme prejudice, quickly learning the limits of how long this body can hold its breath. When I resurface with a gasp of air, I notice Stinky looking around, scanning the room diligently. I'll let you know if he turns up, boy. Enjoy yourself. Stinky grins, declaring it Snapdragon time, and rolls from his pool to one of the larger, more preoccupied ones in the back. This time, Snapdragon appears to involve him hiding underwater and suddenly yanking people underneath. Who? Opa silences my question, with a footpaw raised to my snout, for scrubbing. Right. Despite the dutiful ministrations I've been tasked with, I end up feeling surprisingly relaxed and refreshed here. Sure, it's loud, hot, and smelly, but it's comforting. I can see the gnolls chatting, playing, and bonding. And here I am, finding comfort in the chaos. I'm at soup. By the time I'm done pampering the portly old codger, Stinky's loudly declares himself Snapdragon champion and returns to fetch Opa. Smoked him, didn't even have to voke him. Right, what exactly is that? Oh, you ain't got voking in hell? Well, I'd give you a show, but I'm tapped out. Good thing too, don't want a case of the quakes while I'm in town. My lack of understanding could fill a book, but I'm sure you got plenty of stuff in hell that puts me to shame. Is it true you got chariots fueled by burning blood of ancient dragons? Sure. I want to go there. He turns and catches Opa, threatening to doze off again. Alright, Opa, let's find us a room before it gets too dark. Oh, I considered that. Oh, fuck. Oh, I hadn't considered that. Do you guys do inns, or...? Most of the places here are common houses. First come, first serve once the Nightkin wake up and clear out of them. Nightkin. Those possessed by lesser demons that lead them to favor the night. They have difficulty with attentiveness and focus in the daytime, they lack attentiveness and focus in daytime, but many value them for their keen alertness in the dark hours while others slumber. Nightkin and the Empire must struggle to suppress these urges, lest they draw unwanted scrutiny. Many are forced to use narcotics to suffer through the daytime hours. Knew some folks working in the sewers back in the city. That was defo Nightkin. Is that a rabbit? Tav and Gash have their own places though. They prefer their privacy. Right, I spot Tav peeling himself away from the gaggle of young women that had begun braiding his hair so he can head for the exit. I disembark to give chase, but pause. Thanks, by the way, for earlier, I mean. I'm not good with kids. Kids are easy, you just gotta think on their level. I'm a natural. Right, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Probably. I leave Opa in Stinky's capable hands and hurry to catch up with Tav. Not a towel. Oh, right. So, tonight? You're staying where I can keep an eye on you. He holds up his wrist, tapping the leash. And you better take good care to keep that body clean. You're just borrowing it. He hasn't given up, even after everything that's happened. Something about that makes my tail wag a little. I guess I can let myself cling to a little bit of hope as well. You idiot. It's all your fault. As you run through the labyrinthine mire of sewers sprawling beneath the city, that's all you can think about. You fucked up. It's all your fault. You were in such high spirits. You'd finally scrimped and saved enough to make something nice for him. The other muckrakers... They always talked about the families too. The porcine orc that was too bristly to pass as proper, domesticated piggy, he sang the praises of every new lover he laid with. The mischief of rat folk that suffused the crew. They were always so proud of their seasonal litters. Even the Flayerkin bragged about his tadpoles. But they have the right to be there, documents and permissions, and the blessings of the Emperor to scrounge through the city's refuse. to like the bottom feeders. Okay. You lowered your guard, let it slip, let him slip. Their supervisor, the slave driver, his ears perked up at that. He knew you were undocumented. That's why he paid you only a quarter salary, after the others had already gone. He knew about how much the right pair of hands were worth to the right employer. Small hands, tender hands, hands nobody would miss. If he'd have known how young you really were, he'd have sold you for a pretty penny too already. But you were big for your age, strong for your age, made for labors too bothersome for your betters, just what the city needs. This accursed city, a maze for rats, choking, suffocating, binding. It's so narrow, pressing in from all sides. Your lungs burn from exertion. The vile miasma of the sewers sears your sense of smell with every sharp inhalation. You can't get sick from it, they say. You're a perfect fit for the sewers, they say. Just roll around in the muck like the mindless savage they know you to be. Bow and scrape and play the fool and hope against hope they don't notice. But now they noticed. You couldn't even do that right. The city undulates around you, the slums cavorting and contorting to make you lose your own way. He knows where you live. A quick tip of the whelp snatchers, a few coins in exchange, and just like that, Tab will be gone. Those vile dogs will find him. They'll drag him away to another orphanarium. They'll sell him to the highest bidder. He's too good for that. He's so sweet, smart. He already knows more letters than you do. You can't let them take away. Ugh. You can't let them take him away. You can't let him go. Home. The shabby little hovel the two of you had built together. The merest semblance of shelter in a city that floods with indifference. You clutch that silly little thing in your paws. That thing you spent months trying to cobble together. It was supposed to be a gift for his name day. A celebration. But now that you have to go. Somewhere. But now you have to go. Somewhere, anywhere but here. Someplace where they can't take him away from you. Then you smell them. Your heart sinks. You're not alone. You were followed, you fucking fool. You turn, ready to fight, to defend him at any cost. The titanic figure that towers before you snatches away any hope of victory. His gargantuan bulk ascends in the void of night above, without a face. His companion slithers beside you, faster than you can blink. It's over. I awaken with a gasp, heart pounding in my chest, sweat pouring from my body despite the brisk chill of the arid night. Another brutal dream, a nightmare so vivid I can't untangle it from my own memory at first. A soft sniffle perks my ears. He's hurting so bad. And that toy, it's the one I made him. No, the one you made him. Now it's all he has left. I can't just let him suffer like this. But is there really anything I can do without making it hurt even worse? Oh wow. I'm gonna come for him, because that's what I would do in this situation. Respect? I don't know. I'm gonna do what I would do. Fuck it. Even if he hates me forever, I can't let this go on. I roll off the hay bed he'd sequestered me to, and embrace him, pulling his tiny frame into my arms. He's so soft, so delicate. His scent is my world. I tuck my snout into the crook of his neck, and I can't help but cry alongside him. I'm going to fix things. I'll bring him back to you, no matter what it takes. But until then, let me share your burden. Let me ease your pain. The morning comes without another wink of sleep. How could I rest with this weight upon my heart? I can't stand this. I have to do something. I'm just running, just like he did. The streets are near empty this early. The matron's curtain is raised. You're up early, pup. I need to do something. Clarify.
Anything. I can't stand feeling so useless in all this. I want to help him. So badly I can't stand it. But I don't know how. Wrath sighs deeply, beckoning me closer until his paws touch down on my shoulders, steadying my ragged breaths. Why him? Because I wronged him. I took away someone so precious to him. He keeps up his line of questioning in a gentle tone, reviewing what I've already discussed to guide me. Did you mean to? No, but that's what happened. Gash is gone because of me. Do you know how to bring him back? No, but I have to find a way. And if you can't, then I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to him, to atone. Do you think that's what he wants? What? Will that make him happy? To see you suffer? Who are you doing this for? Is it really for him? Or is it for you? Come here, boy. I know it's hard. Loss is always hard. But it's not something we can make up the difference for like that. It's something that sticks with us forever. We can live through it, we can adapt, but we'll always carry that weight. Then what can I do? You can start by taking care of yourself. Harder than it sounds at first, I know. But if you can manage that, then you can take care of others. Can't build bridges on a flimsy foundation. Myself? I'm having a hard time with that. I can tell. But I'm glad you came here. I'm glad you feel comfortable enough to talk to me about it. And I'm glad you're still here with us. My lips tremble. How can you be so gentle like this? I think you can get better. I think you can be a good boy. Me? Yes, you have the drive to make things better. You can make yourself better. You can make us better. That's what the tribe means here. His kindness is overwhelming. Is this what it's like to stand before a matron? So what'll it be? Are you going to be a good boy? I mean, why would I deny? That's like... It is hard to get help, I think, for me, but I would do it. Yes, I'll do anything, please. I promise I'll get Gash back, even if it means... My heart aches at the thought. I talked a big game about wanting to stay, but if it comes down to me or Gash, who gets to stay? Of course it's him, right? He plucks my chin up to lock eyes with me. No, we don't sacrifice one soldier to save another. We'll find a way to get him back, but we won't give up on you to get there. After all, you're my good boy, aren't you? I'm on the verge of tears, sniffling to hold back the extra gooey ones. No, here they come. I don't know how to say this. Whatever, it's embarrassing. And He cradles my head to his chest, comforting me as I bawl my fucking eyes out. There you go, let it out. That's a good boy. The matron tends to me as I weep. I don't shy away no matter how much trauma I dump on him. He stays calm, warm. Does he do this for everyone? How can he take it all? I close my eyes and bask in his smell. His embrace wraps around me like a warm blanket. It's more complex than the others, fraught with opposing elements, old scars and new life, gunpowder and gravy. After what feels like an eternity of sobbing in what must be at least a gallon of Gnoll residue, his counsel brings me to rest at last. He even gives me a task to help give me purpose for today at least. One day at a time, he says, one step at a time. I leave with one of the wicker baskets he'd brought with us, and rough directions on some deliveries to make. In the time I spent with the matron, it seems the bulk of the town has roused from slumber. The streets packed with myriad conversations, bartering, and more than a little good-spirited roughhousing. A few friendly waves and curious snouts greet me as I pass by. With most gnolls not having permanent abodes here,
I have to ask around for at last whereabouts to find the recipients for the parcels. It seems most folks rely on their noses to find who they're looking for around here, but seeing as I'm not familiar enough yet, this might take a while. The first I managed to find in the outer rim of the village is a plump gnoll on the shorter end, barely taller than Tav. He's in a densely packed cluster of gnolls gathered around a lone egg sitting in the ground, cautiously observing and sniffing at it. He pulls himself away from that riveting entertainment to accept a few poorly bound books from my basket. Though his stoic, somewhat sleepy expression barely changes any, I can tell he's a bit melancholic about the delivery. He explains that there's books on animal husbandry and farming almanacs. He can wrangle a speaker later to help him learn what's inside it, but it's hard to get started without any livestock or seeds to lay the groundwork with. They've been gently encouraging that egg ever since they found it, but even the warmest of their slumber has yet to hatch it. I can smell fuck. Yeah, no fuck. It smells alive though, and it trembles now and again, so they're certain it's been sired proper. I know I have other deliveries to make, but this is something I can do too. For the next few hours, we sit and pore over those books, looking for any hints on proper poultry pampering. We manage to identify the egg at last. That of a barmy dust pheasant. They bury their eggs in shallow dunes so that the warm sands heat them up evenly and keep them hidden. The egg must have left abandoned and buried, and there's likely a great many more to be found in the dunes beyond. After a few tries to recreate those conditions, the crowd erupts into joyous excitement when a tiny beak pierces up through the shell and sand, peeping up a storm. Maybe the little peeper's instincts told it to stay inside while exposed out on the surface, or maybe it just needed a firm bed of sand around it to push free of its shell instead of wobbling around. Either way, it feels great to see them so excited over this. The next recipient? Yeah. Always feels like a weird word. I'm like forcing it, kinda. The next recipient I managed to track down is in the heart of the village proper, where baskets and pots build makeshift stalls, while drapes run overhead to provide a bit of shade for the heated haggling. With so many gnolls in one place, the crowded street forms into a haddock bazaar for those with goods on offer or services to render. I don't see any coin-changing paws, so I imagine they're still working on the barter system here. The gnoll I'm directed to eyes me with a predatory grin, sizing me up. It takes several attempts to belay his well-practiced sales pitch and ante-upping before I get the message across him that I'm here to deliver something rather than bargain. He's elated with the small satchel of delicate-looking tools I deliver, revealing that he's a dice maker by trade. And indeed, his impromptu little shop is stocked with all manner of bones to roll. He explains that the trade has been getting more and more popular as the village grows. Not only are little trinkets favored by full-grown gnolls seeking to gamble in their downtime, but they've become a popular entertainment vector for the children too, educational even. He shows me a special dice with numbers and letters printed on them. The children make games of seeing what they can spell as they roll, usually with dirt eating as the punishment for failure. Recognizing I'm no stranger to letters myself, he quickly tries to upsell me on a full set, and it takes him quite a while to pry myself away from simply breaking into a full sprint to escape. The next delivery takes me back to the hot springs, which suits me just fine, as by reckoning, it's nearly soup o'clock. The dour-looking gnoll, sipping soup from the stein, stares at me with a profound intensity as I deliver a set of very sharp needles to him. He examines the needles closely, pricking a finger to draw a droplet of blood, and nodding his head in satisfaction with the results. He explains that he's a piercer. Many of the refugees here hailed from tribes that used piercings to denote their spiritual beliefs or romantic preferences. Specifically, it's common to have distinct piercings to denote funerary preferences in case you're found dead by strangers. Earth Mother adherents typically preferred Earth Mother burial. Brood Mother, faithful, were to be eaten. Tide Lord disciples were to be cast into the sea, and so on. I couldn't help but ask about his own lack of piercings, given his profession. He explained that his remaining ones were a bit more intimate, but he lost the ones in his ear when his son died. I realized I should probably drop it there. My job is done. But he seems like he could use someone to talk to. I sit with him and bowl up some soup. I ask about his son. He seems surprised, but his expression softens to allow at least a hint of a smile as he reminisces. He says his son had quite a difficult life, born with demons that tormented him until the end. Seizures, mood swings, and so much screaming. The demons took him just before the 10th summer. Afterwards, they found a demon bulb the size of a fist in his head when cleaning his bones. Oh, that sucks. R.I.P. man. Aw. But even with his demons, he still had so much joy inside him. The piercer explains that he'll carry that smile with him, always. He then lifts his kerchief to show the fang necklace he keeps beneath it. Oh. He goes on to explain the boy did have his good days. He could be a proper sweet, even though he never really got a grasp on words. The other kids were quite fond of him. They loved rolling bones together, so he had the dice maker make them each a set from the boy's remains to remember him by. He looks a bit less grim after that chat. That felt good, I think. I'm finally down to the last of the deliveries. This one's a letter, actually sealed with wax and everything. I had thought Tav had handled all these. Maybe this one got mixed in with the baskets by mistake. This stamp resembles an overflowing beer stein. I suspect the gold color of the wax is meant to resemble ale to match the theme, and not pee, even though it looks a lot like pee. The scar it's addressed to is apparently a grouchy old chimera, according to the helpful folks pointing me along his trail. Scar, a retired mercenary that used to operate out of the Empire along with his partner Bigot. His status as a chimera made a living in the Empire hard, but he managed to leverage that for a significant intimidation factor before he found us and got out of the city. He was working and he got us out of the city. He was working to smuggle letters and packages between the Empire and Shattertusk. But because he had to give that up, he was spotted a few too many times and rearranged enough faces during our escape to garner impressive bounty on his head. So okay, he taught us the ropes so we can take over and play mailman now. Hybrid. Chimera. Hybrid offspring that result from couplings between two different peoples. Chimera are exceedingly rare, as interspecies reproduction is almost never viable, and the few that are born are usually riddled with mutations and very prone to ailment. Most don't survive to adulthood. Common belief holds that the chimeras suffer monstrous deformities and are prone to savagery. The more mixed with their blood becomes, as they stray from the forms first granted to us by whatever old god, alleviated from mere beasts. How come we don't call them chimeras with an S? That's weird. It doesn't take too long for them to find out the outskirts. It doesn't take too long to find him on the outskirts of town, resting on a stone outcropping where he can stare into the wilderness unbothered. I can feel the collar's tug starting to nag at me, so this must be the near end of my range. With just one look, I understand what they meant by chimera. He definitely doesn't look entirely Gnoll, and the glare he sends my way doesn't look like he's interested in company, so I'll try to keep the delivery brief. Scar? Letter for you. With a sigh, he holds out his hand expectantly.
Oh, I guess you don't need a speaker.
The harsh, deep gravel of his voice is tinged with annoyance and a bit of reptilian rasp.
Good eye. Ain't got out on me yet. Good eye ain't gone out on me yet.
As I hand over the letter, and he starts to tear it open, I can't help but feel there's something off about him. I close my eyes and focus on his scent. It's almost as... I close my eyes and focus on his scent. It's almost become second nature by this point. Wait. There's nothing. He's got no scent whatsoever. It's actually kind of unsettling. And I don't remember seeing him at soup last night either.
Quit giving me that look. I already told you and your little boyfriend I'm retired.
My what? Simmer down there, kid. Don't take a speaker to read between the lines with you two. And that blush of yours sure ain't doing you any favors if you're trying to keep it under wraps. I sputter and recoil at the brazen assertion. A nervous cackle escaping me unbidden. Am I blushing? I think my ears are splayed, and my tail is waving anxiously. Just a thought of me and Tav? But he means Gash. The old chimera grumbles as he crumples up that letter, already having finished it during my little freakout. Drinks are on me, he says, as if I can just pop by on the afternoon stroll. I don't see that fat ass marching out halfway across this realm to pay us a visit. It's the big guy, he probably figured. He got himself a new temple and fancies himself a holy man now. My ears perk. A holy man? Like the kind that banishes demons? If you can put that up with preaching, sure. He always said he always said he was a master of spirits. Where? We gotta find him. Not like you'd ever get that far in the Imperial territory without a guide. Then show me. Now listen here. I busted my tail to get you pups out of the Empire, and you want me to take you back? His thick reptilian tail thwaps hard against the ground, either to emphasize his point, or just because he's getting riled. This is important. Simmer down, kid. The hell's gotten into you? Exactly, hell's gotten into me. You ain't making a lick of sense. Look, Scar. It's Scar, right? I don't know how you knew him, or haven't you heard by now? Honestly, this town is rife with gossip. Out with it, kid. Gash is gone. A demon took over his body. It's me. I'm the demon. Hi, hello. Name's Nikola. Boy, you'd better quit playing games. I fall. I'm okay. Demon color. He must have wound up the leash. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm good down here, so don't worry. I just need to find a way to banish myself back to hell, so Gash can have his body back and him and Tav can get married and everything will be fine forever. So just tell me where the holy man is, and I'll be out of everyone's hair. Done and done. Please say words. He soon rouses from that stunned silence, kneeling down to examine me. God's damned. You ain't fooling around, huh? No, sir, Mr. Scar, sir. Yeah, you sure ain't him. I thought you were talking funny. Tav stomps through the dirt furiously, following my direction of the leash dangles from his wrist, like some dowsing rod. What the hell are you doing out here? Mailman. I thought I told you to stay close so I can keep an eye on you. Can I get up now? He grunts and unwinds the leash a little bit more. I breathe a sigh of relief as the rest of my body wakes back up, slowly finding my way back to my feet. Look, I'm sorry about last night, but I think I found a solution. You're in no position to. Just listen. For once, just listen to me. I know you're hurt. I'm hurting too. This sucks for everyone. But please just hear me out for once before you shut me down. Alright,
So Scar here knows a holy man that might be able to exorcise me. You mean Baguette? I suppose it might work. Scar? Look, he set up shop deep in the Empire lands. Look, he set up shop deep in the Empire lands. It'd take a miracle to get there without papers. Don't make that face, kid.
It's not like you could take us anyway, after all. You're retired, right?
Scar, you said you'd get these two out of the Empire, right? So they're important to you. This might be the only chance we have to save Gash. This might be the only chance to save Gash. So please, if there's any way we can make this happen, you're serious about this. As serious as can be. Demon's honor. Fine. Let's run it by the Matron. And just like that, he marches off with heavy footfalls, dragging the thick tail of his through the dust. I'm not going to be your problem any longer. Come on, let's get this over with. Back in the village proper, my ears perk at hearing a familiar voice rising above the din of the crowd. And we soon stumble upon Opa, performing a story recitation beneath the merciful shade of the awning. Before I know it, I'm getting swept up in the tail end of the tale about the dangers of snapdragons. Tav keeps walking, and I can feel the collars tug, but the way Opa speaks commands such gravitas that I feel a need to stop and listen anyway. And it seems I'm not the only one. He's got the younger children enraptured as well. Also, Stinky. He's got no less than 3 of the little buggers crawling over him for the best seats in the house to hear Opa's storytelling. Most of the older gnolls don't look nearly as enthused, but they're happy to bask in the shade caress at the very least. As his story wraps up, he motions to retire from the recitation, but the children's pleading soon convinces him to stay for a while, just one more. With my recent arrival in town apparently still in their minds, the cheers soon turn to demands about a story about demons. Demons. Big, scary, creepy, crawly, sinful, salacious demons. The cheering reaches a crescendo. The old man knows how to play a crowd. Then how about the tale of the good demon? Tav stops dead in his tracks. As he hear that, returning to my side to listen. I haven't heard this one. As Opa sets the scene with a vivid depiction of a mad mage's sanctum in the heart of the Empire, gesticulating wildly to sell the spectacle of the story, Tav snags the journal back from me and inks up his claw to begin recording every word. But the mad mage's fist and Dantilus, vile evoker that he was, he didn't know what he bargained for when he called the demon to occupy his own body. He thought he could sequester it away in his oh-so-brilliant mind to command its power without losing himself to the demon's influence. But once the summoning was complete, he grew not muscles to enhance his diminutive frame, nor the wicked claws, horns, or fangs he envied in his peers. Instead he grew the most dreadful thing of all. Dear boys and girls. He pauses for dramatic effect. A conscience. Audible gasps echo through the audience. Stingy's is particularly loud. The power-hungry mage had summoned himself not a sinful conspirator, or a fiendish brute, but an honest-to-goodness good demon. The poor demon was trapped indeed, languishing in old Fisty's head for months after this failed summoning. It admonished him for each vile experiment he conducted, rebuked him for the cruel treatment of his familiars, and even scolded him when he failed to bathe. At last, he could suffer no more of this nagging reproach. He wouldn't let some lowly demon tell him what to do. So he forged a baleful gem to seal the demon within, cackling with glee as it begged for mercy. But the mad mage knew no mercy, and so brought his staff thundering down upon the ritual circle, to cast the demon out once and for all. But demons aren't dealt with so easily, my friends. When the mad mage awoke, he found no breath which to scream,
nor Ma to curse the fate that had befallen him. He had trapped himself within the gem. The demon's scheme proved fruitful at last. It had studied his secrets and learned quickly, sabotaging his ritual at the last moment to curse him with the very prison he sought to sequester it in. Free at last, the demon took his body for itself. And do you know what it did with that body? He pauses once more, to spur the audience's reaction before continuing. The demon became a champion of justice, righting wrongs and vanquishing villains across the empire. So, if a demon can be good, what excuse do you little whelps have? The old Gnoll's teasing remarks draw a wave of giggles from the little ones. As Opa wraps up, the crowd starts to disperse. I return my gaze to Tav and see him looking at the journal fondly. The story proved a nice change of pace after that heated discussion outside the village. Even Tav can't help but smile, a little, as he puts the finishing touches on the entry. But part of me wonders why Opa decided to tell that particular story. You don't think he made that up just because of me, do you? I don't think so. That sounded pretty well practiced. Looks like he's been telling it plenty of times before. I peek closer to see what he's written. It looks like he managed to capture every word, even with the brisk pace Opa spoke at. That's really impressive, actually. Do you always record stories? He pauses. He passes the book back to me, avoiding my gaze. When I can, storytelling is historically an oral tradition for Gnolls. But if nobody writes it down, it might get forgotten someday. And that's just so sad. To think that after you're gone, nobody will remember who you were or what you did. Your legacy just vanishes. Here comes that feeling again. I just can't stand to see him spiral like this. I know I'm not responsible for cheering him up, but I dig deep anyway, searching my memory for a less gloomy paradigm to parrot. How do you say that? Paradigm? Paradigm? I like to imagine that even after you're gone, the people whose lives you touched will carry on your legacy. And when they're all dead too? Think. Well, I suppose it's like a pebble in a pond, isn't it? The kindness you drop in the water influences the people around you to become more kind. And in turn, that keeps rippling outward. Eventually, you can't see the ripples anymore, but the pond itself stands higher overall. You never know what kind of legacy might end up being even more impactful than whatever written records managed to survive the ages. I know I'd rather make the world a little kinder instead of being remembered forever as the guy who sold shitty copper or something. Well, I'm still going to write down as much as I can, but that's a really nice thought, actually. It reminds me of some philosophy books Gash used to read to me. Fuck philosophy. It's not bad, but I'm taking a class right now and it sucks. Oh, was he a big reader too? He's the one that taught me. Fought Tusk and Claw to sneak discarded books back for me when he worked as a trash picker. Really? I guess he was smarter than I realized. Yeah, I just wish he realized that himself. You made it. I was worried you'd miss the story time. Kinda got caught up in surprise, actually. We were about to go to the matron's hut with Scar. Scar? He's here? Oh yeah, I guess he must have gone ahead of us to see the matron. Stinky bolts in the direction without another word. Well, this is going to be a mess. We arrived to find the partition drawn shut, with Nika standing guard to keep Stinky out from behind it. Calm yourself, boy. They won't be long. But it's been so long. Will he even recognize me? I'm sure he can already smell you. Shroud doesn't block that. This boy be testing me one lonely nerve. Stinky, let's help out with the poultice prep. But I'm sure Nika could use some help with your medicine anyway. After some time spent crushing up dried nettles and making paste from deathroot, the curtain finally opens. Some tension hangs in the air as the two older gnolls join us from behind the curtain.
You've been busy, pup. Oh yeah, delivery's taken care of.
Mailman.
Only been here a day and already have hatched a scheme to get yourself exercised. Oh yeah, that too. Now my first instinct, and forgive my mistrustful nature, is that a sudden plan to take a handful of my good boys back into the Womwood with you smells like a goddamn trap.
The Womwood? Oh yeah. I guess that's the only way back to the Empire. But I reckon I should practice a bit more of what I preach and give you a chance to prove yourself.
So, you mean, if Taz's willing to accompany you, yeah, of course, leash and all. But I ain't gonna force you, none of you. This needs to be something all three of y'all want to partake in. Of course, if Scar is willing to show us the way, I know I'm asking a lot. Yeah, it's not like I'm of any use farting away my golden years in this place. Scar? Besides, the two of you wouldn't make it far in the Imperial territory without getting your hands tanned. Your hides tanned. And the Big Oaf's been begging me to come visit anyway. And you sure you want to go back there? Fuck no. I made that kid a promise and I intended to keep it. So we're really doing this then? We'll have to be extremely careful. Normally if we bump into brood witches, we can just drop everything and run. But if they catch wind that I'm there, they'll hunt us down with everything they got. At least the forest still lets you in. The land itself rebels against my presence. Yeah, they're still mad about all the blasphemies. They can be mad. I can't hardly believe how fast things are moving. I was starting to think that I'd have to spend months, maybe even years here before an opportunity like this came along. I can feel the familiar pang of remorse squelching in my gut, but I'm getting better at ignoring it. Yeah, I don't want to leave. I'm getting sick of hearing myself think that. I've got to step up and take responsibility to fix this. And I might never get a chance like this again. I'm drawn from my thoughts when Scar claps upon my shoulder. Look, I'm on board with this for Tav and Gash, but I gotta know I can trust you too. Yeah, I know it must be hard to trust a demon. Look, in my experiences, demons ain't all the Empire makes them out to be. Most of the ones are just scared shitless. They don't know the first thing about this world, except that all the Imperials want them burnt at the stake. Sure, if they got rich family, the Empire will hook them up with treatments to cure them. But whatever that entails can't be good. Leaves them quite docile shell afterwards, if not a drooling invalid outright. I ain't gonna let none of you kids end up like that. I'm not gonna let that happen either. Gash deserves his life back, and I'm going to make sure that happens. No matter what. Well, alright. You got hellfire in your eyes, Nikola. But it sounds like I can't count on you in a scrap with that collar on. Yeah. If we're quick and quiet, we won't need to do anything. Or we won't need to do any fighting. Shouldn't be too hard to lay low with just three of us. Hey. Hey, kid. I heard you were in town. And well, I was hoping we could catch up. Scar, come on. No, it's okay. Kid, you're grown now. You got your own life. You don't need me around to mess it up. Well, then in that case, I'm coming too. You're what now? Look, me and Opa have been living in the Womwood for years now. I know my way around it even better than you do. And if push comes to shove, you'll want to have a Voker on your side, right? No way in hell. He does have a point. Earth Mother's blessing could come really in handy down there, and on the other side too. Plus, it's not like 4 is much harder to hide than 3. Look, I ain't gonna put an untrained kid in harm's way like that. I'm not a kid anymore. It's not any different from us going.
Well, who's gonna look after Opa? Nika offered. She said she'll put him to work on poultices. Says it'll be good to keep his mind active at that age. Fine. You ain't my problem anymore. You're free to do whatever you want. I'll go tell Opa. So that was family stuff. Makes me glad I'm an orphan. Really. No. Hey Gash is your family. And he'll be back real soon. Yeah. Yeah. Wanna go get soup? Yeah. I didn't get to spend much time in Shattertusk, after all. But I'm glad there was soup. Part 3. This is where we'll end it. Oh. And position. Okay, everyone. I've been sitting down for a few hours. Finally, I guess standing up. Okay, I found the name of the anime though. It's called Death Mount Dead Play? Hold up. Yeah, Dead Mount Death Play. You wanna watch it? There it is, but I don't really care if you watch it or not. You're like, it's just whatever, it's just a show. This was an interesting episode. I'm going to slightly turn this down just a bit. Yeah, there we go. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. How is everyone doing after this? I hope you guys are doing well. One of the only 2 videos of the week. This is the 3rd time recording this video because I don't know, I didn't want to edit, so I made a new video where I didn't have to edit as much. It probably took longer just making this one than editing, but editing is a bitch to do, so I'd rather read again than edit. Yeah. Oh wait, did I read any of those? You know, whatever. What we got? People. We got Opa, Scar, Stinky. We got Scar. Don't do that again. Shattertusk. The Good Demon. The story of a good demon that foiled the machinations of the Mad Mage, Fist and Danceless, proving that anyone has the capacity for good or evil within them, regardless of their origin. It's a simple morality tale for children, but a necessary one. There didn't seem to be too much else going on with it, like a subtext or a story within a story. Gash always said to pay attention to those, because they foreshadow important events. Yeah, I wonder what this refers to. God, I think I said all these. I definitely said something about this one. Alright, yeah, let's go back. Probably the 5th one of the video. Hello. Yeah, no. I hope everyone's having an amazing Tuesday. This was recorded, I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it's been a while. So this one, I don't know what else to say, because I should start actually thinking about story plots and events and shit, foreshadowing, or what's it called, things to ask myself when reading. Maybe, I don't know, just more to say at the end, but I don't have that right now, just me. So I hope everyone has a good week or whatever, or a good weekend, good day, good night, whatever it is for y'all. Whatever it is for y'all. I'm sorry, I'm ADHD brain's fucking going crazy. I'm finally gonna get up, so I'm just about to speed through. If you want to read this for yourself, you may read it in the or you can find where to read it in the description down below. And if you like the story, consider credits. Yeah, they have a Patreon. This does have a Patreon, and I forget if it's a subscribe star or not, or if they have one, but I will link both their Patreon and subscribe star in the description down below, if they have a subscribe star. Yeah. if you want to do that, you get earlier access to builds of this visual novel. I will see y'all later. Have a good day, or good night. Bye-bye.